Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Plagues of Justinian. Just wanted to get on here real quick and talk a little bit about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. First of all, I just want to say to pray for his wife, for his children, his family, his relatives, anyone close to him, anyone that works with him, anyone deeply affected by this. A lot of the country is deeply affected by this, and I don't think America will ever be the same. But those that are close to him, were close to him each and every day, will be profoundly affected. So we need to pray for their healing, for their comfort. This is something that his wife will never get over. His children will never understand. We just need to pray for healing and for courage and for guidance for those folks as well as for the nation. Let's just get right into it. Romans chapter 1, verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. For it, in the righteousness of God, is revealed from faith for faith, as it is written, the righteous shall live by faith. I just saw a video there yesterday, today, whatever day it was, about Charlie saying he wanted to be remembered for his faith, for his courage and faith. And it is due to his faith, not by his own works, but due to his faith that Charlie did live a righteous life. Now, I know there's a lot of doctrine discussions, theological discussions on whether we go to heaven or not right away when we die. Paul says that we sleep until the great day. But there's not a doubt in my mind that he's with the Lord and he will be with the Lord. He's a man who brought a lot of others to Christ. He changed a lot of minds on things like abortion, on things like the mental illness of transgenderism. He spoke openly and honestly about his beliefs, knowing that they would be soundbited, taken out of context, or used to justify his assassination. And one thing I did want to get into here is it's about 6:12 p.m. Central Time on 9/11. We still have not found the guy who did this. Do not let them trick you all into believing that this was a Republican or this was a conservative, like they did with they tried to convince people that the guy who shot Trump was a conservative, or that the guy who shot the Minnesota rep was a conservative. Do not let them lie to you. They will gaslight you into oblivion if you allow it. Use your common sense, use your discernment, because that's all they do. The mainstream media lies. And it's due to their lies, partly due to their lies, that a 31-year-old father has been murdered for the whole world to see. Now, I did watch the video, and it is horrific. And if you have not seen it, I do not suggest seeing it. Try to avoid it if you can, although it's everywhere, it's plastered everywhere, and I think that's the purpose of these assassinations. If you'll remember when they tried to shoot Trump, well, they did shoot Trump when they tried to kill Trump. They wanted that to happen live on television in front of the whole world. They wanted to blow a hole in his head for the whole world to see, to shut people up. And just like Charlie, the purpose is to attempt to shut people up. We must not let them shut us up. We must continue to fight. We must continue to speak out. We must have discourse in the streets, on college campuses, online, wherever. Charlie was a huge proponent of that. This is how you heal as a nation. You talk about things. My generation, probably the generation right before me, well, it was taught, it was drilled into our head. There's two things you don't talk about at work or at school is politics, religion. And we see now the division that causes, the hatred that causes. And it's no longer a viable option. It never was to begin with, but now we've been doing it for so long that, when you voice an opinion that isn't even that far out of the mainstream, you're called a Nazi, a fascist, a racist, or literally Hitler. And that's the kind of things they want to happen to us. They don't want us to have any discussion at all. They want us to basically be afraid to speak our mind. They want us to be afraid to tell people how we really feel, especially about social issues. We must not be afraid to speak on the evils of abortion, gender ideology. We must not be afraid to tell people who Jesus Christ is. Not was, is, because he is alive. Mark chapter 8, verse 38, for whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and this sinful generation, of him will the Son of Man also be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. Charlie was not ashamed to speak the gospel to an adulterous and sinful generation, a degenerate generation, Degeneration X. Morally bankrupt, degenerate population. He wasn't afraid to tell them the truth, as so many people are. You're not a woman because you feel like a woman. If you are a woman, it's because you're born a woman. And there's only two things you can be born as, a man and a woman. Anybody who is struggling with that thought, I don't hate you. I don't want you to die. I don't want you to suffer. I want to help you and I pray for you. Because nobody in your life cares about you enough to tell you the truth in a lot of the cases. We have to be afraid to hurt feelings in the short, or we have to not be afraid to hurt feelings in the short term so that we can save lives in the long term. If people are trapped in their own mind or in this little bullshit here, then there's nothing that they can tell themselves that they won't be able to convince themselves. It's all fake. The internet is not real. It is not real life. The delusions we're being fed through the internet are killing innocent people. People that are just sad and don't know why, so they go on some forum, on Reddit, on Blue Sky, and they see that other people are also sad, and this other person thinks that they're sad because they're a man trapped, or a woman trapped in a man's body. So then the first sad person thinks to themselves, wow, maybe I'm a woman. Maybe that'll help. And then we pump them full of hormones, testosterone. And then for a few months, yeah, of course they feel a little better. They're pumped full of hormones. that they haven't, that they don't need, that there's too much of it in their body. It is an evil thing that's happening to our people. Nobody is transgender. It's not real. If you believe you are a woman trapped in a man's body, you are sick and you need help. And that doesn't mean I hate you. It means I love you and I care about you. And I don't want you to join that 41%. I want you to live a long, healthy, prosperous life in what is the greatest nation of all time. We don't hate you. We feel sorry for you. It's sympathy. We feel sorry that nobody in your life wants to tell you the truth. I went through things in my late teens and early 20s where I was being an idiot. And I thank the good Lord that I had people in my life that were willing to tell me, hey dude, you're being an idiot. And it saved my life. I was drinking, doing drugs, partying, not taking care of my responsibilities. But I had people in my life that cared about me enough to tell me the truth of what I was doing and how it was affecting me and the people around me, the people that I supposedly cared about. We must help each other. We must not be afraid to speak the truth. We live in a delusional culture, a completely delusional culture. And to be honest, it probably starts right here. And it would probably end right here if you give it a chance. Talk to the Lord. You know a Christian, no matter how deeply embedded in leftist culture you are, you know a Christian. Talk to that person in your life. Seek them out. Have them pray for you. Have them pray with you. There's no such thing as a transgender person. Gender dysphoria is a real thing. But it's the only disease, sickness, or mental illness, whatever you want to call it, that we know is in the head. And instead of treating the head, the mental, we treat the body. We do this with nothing else. We don't tell schizophrenic people those voices are real. You need to listen to them. We don't tell depressed people, hey, that's just who you are. Embrace it. We don't tell anxious people, that's who you are. Embrace it. And we would never do that. The only reason it's being done to the supposed transgender population is because the doctors, the psychiatrists, the therapists, they're profiting off of it. Probably billions of dollars every year. Once you go on the medicines that they want you to take, if you want to continue to live that lifestyle, you must take them for the entire life, for your entire life. Which, knowing the statistics, that might not be a long time. Because we don't know what these medicines are truly doing to us. You're being experimented on. You're being manipulated. You're being lied to for profit. Right now, I'm trying to speak to the ones that hate capitalism, that hate the culture we live in, that hate our healthcare system. Yet they go out and defend this to the grave. It's cognitive dissonance. We'll get back to Charlie, though. I got on a little tangent there. Charlie Kirk was one of the people that wanted to have open discussion, open dialogue. He invited anybody who wanted to speak. He gave them a platform of millions to watch. Millions of people watch his content every day. And it's going to be much more now, knowing that we're not going to get any more of it. He was one of the only ones that wants to do that. You don't see it a ton from people on the left, where they want to have an open discussion, have an open debate in the open air on college campuses, which is what college campuses are for. This is what they were for before they were infiltrated by communists, by Marxists, by evil actors who don't care about the well-being of our nation. McCarthyism was not a myth. They just told you it was a myth. Our country was overtaken long ago. And it's people like Charlie that wanted to bring it back to its glory. A Christian nation where everyone is free, everyone has the same opportunity, and we're not being brainwashed constantly, indoctrinated into chopping off our own genitals, our own healthy genitals. Top surgery, bottom surgery, whatever it is. It's just a new form of self-harm. It's no different than the people that cut themselves in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Probably further back than that, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to speak on it if I don't know. We are a nation that is hurting. And it's people like Charlie that wanted to bring people together to try to heal that hurt. Charlie said something one time in a video that was it's a pretty basic concept, but to me, when I heard it from him, it was just like, a light bulb. Bad things happen when people stop talking. That's in a nation, but also in a marriage. When we stop communicating, that's when we have really bad things happen, as we saw yesterday. Pray for our country. Pray for those who think this is a joke. Pray for those who do not understand the far-reaching implications of this because they don't understand history. They don't have an original thought in their mind. Pray for the people that do not understand. The ones praising this, the ones celebrating it, pray for them. Because they do not know what just happened. I fear that they will find out soon, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we can heal from this, but this was a monumental moment in American history. And we will feel the effects of this for quite some time, if we can even get around it. Charlie Kirk was an American. He was a Christian. He was a father. He started an organization when he was, I believe, just 18 years old. Now they're on 1,100 campuses all over the world. He did more in his 14 years of adult life than most people do in 40 years. He changed many lives, including my own. And he's going to continue to change lives and change minds and change hearts. His videos are going to do better numbers than they ever did before. This will not stop his movement. This will not stop our movement. This is going to make us stronger, at least on the right, at least the Christian conservative movement. They don't know what this means. Just like when they shot Trump, it secured Trump the election. Well, they killed Charlie. And they probably secured the next several elections. Charlie was taken out because he was a massive figure for the youth. He had influence with the youth that we've likely never seen before. If you had to point to one person besides Donald Trump, besides J.D. Vance, who is responsible for the election of Donald Trump in 2024, it is without a doubt Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump is not back in the Oval Office without Charlie Kirk. That's why he was killed. That's why he was martyred. That's why he was assassinated, executed for the whole world to see. We must pray. Pray for his family. Pray for our nation. Thank you. God bless you. Repent and believe the gospel. Thank you for watching.